Well, new questions today about the mainstream media and its coverage of two very different protests. Screen left, protests erupting in Arizona over the new immigration law. Screen right, last month's Tea Party protest in Washington, ahead of the big health care reform vote. Notice any difference? In Arizona, protesters are hurling bottles at police. Several protesters were arrested. In Washington, there were accusations of nasty comments outside the Capitol, but not a single arrest. And yet, to hear some of the mainstream media report it, the Arizona scene was, quote, mostly peaceful, while D.C. was considered, quote, very ugly. Two of our favorite radio...
Megan, the double standard on this one really reaches comical proportions. Today on my radio show, I played a 15-second clip from a respected journalist named Mike Von Frem from ABC News. And in his report, he was covering the Phoenix riots, right? He's saying, oh, we got riot police out here. There are rocks being thrown. Now the protests are mostly peaceful. I mean, he literally said the protests are mostly peaceful in the body of reporting on rocks being thrown, riot police being brought in, and yet this nonsensical, mythical act of spitting or racial epithets at the Tea Party protests, that's reported breathlessly by the mainstream media folks like Mike Von Frem. It's absolutely laughable. It's comical. Right.
On the streets, there was anger. Riot police were called in to try to control demonstrators protesting outside the Capitol. Most were peaceful. A handful threw bottles at police and were arrested.
I guess ABC is also manipulating its camera, but then the second clip is of ABC talking about the Tea Party protesters.
Outside, protesters against the plan gathered on the streets of the Capitol, where late today we learned words shouted turned very ugly. Reports of racial and homophobic slurs. One protester actually spitting on a congressman.
Mark, I know you're paid real well to do a radio show, but here's the deal. You could increase your income. Andrew Breitbart is offering a cash reward if you can prove that the N-word, if you have one shred of evidence that the N-word or anybody was spat upon at any of these Tea Party rallies. I think he's offering like a $100,000 reward.